what a coincidence. Right when I find out I haven't forgotten the rating, the video cuts off on me. But, needless to say, Fellow with Loneliness is a 5 out of 5. Tailed Beast form, he's a 5 out of 5 because he doesn't say Naruto Uzumaki. You can run 3 turn 0 Narutos and then you can run the Tailed Beast form Narutos. All the same, and it's got growth. So you really can't go wrong with it. Um, I'm giving him a 5 out of 5 as well. Um, Next card, Neji. Like I said, he's not meant for the hardcore Byakugan decks. In fact, if anything, I only see him as a splashable ninja and for mill decks. But what people fail to realize why he's so good, uh, controlling what your opponent will draw has a bigger impact than most people think it does. Knowing what your opponent is going to draw. It doesn't look that intimidating on paper, but when it actually happens, it really does give you a sense of helpless feeling. And even discarding one card, even for a recycled deck, that's something to worry about because, for one thing, it controls what is going to be put in the discard. It doesn't need to be a ninja. It could be a mission or jutsu. You know? All it needs to be is that. And frankly, you have to be smart enough to know which jutsus to discard if you know what kind of deck it's going to be. You look at the top 3 cards, and it's pretty safe to assume you can figure out what kind of deck they're going to be playing. So, if it was a lightning deck, I'd keep an eye out for missions, like maybe boxed lunches, ninth matches. Why can't I discard them? So, Neji is a very flexible effect. If Sasuke is not your cup of tea for splashable effects, go ahead and use this Neji. Um, I do I see myself using him, like, say, in my hardcore Byakugan decks? Maybe. Maybe. But quite frankly, I would rather use the uncommon that prevents one of my opponents from becoming users of a jutsu when I send out my ninjas to attack. I would frankly use that one more than this one because he does show up on turn 4, which is a little bit late. If he was a turn 2 Neji, that would be awesome. Um, but in the meantime, it is tough to say but also there's also the chance of where the top 3 cards of the deck are ridiculously good, and it wouldn't matter what card you discarded because the top 2 cards are going to be pretty good. So, Neji, is going to be. It saddens me, but it's only because Sasuke has no hand cost. I'm giving Neji a 3. I it's it's just a safety effect. He's a splashable ninja and the effect is just okay. If it was turn 2, it would be a solid 4. Um, Next, we're gonna go with Mangekyo Sharingan. I was not that impressed with this jutsu when I first saw it. This jutsu to me is, for those of you who think 3/8 trigrams is not enough. I really can't say other words. I'm not saying that the remove from play effect is not great. I'm not saying negating the effect text is not great. Um, but it still feels like an 8 trigram effect. Even the cost and the targeting of it. And even getting a -2/-2 coin at the end of the turn, that's just a bit off for me. It's only for the fire decks that really want to run more, who feel like 3/8 trigrams are not enough to run if they're not enough removal for people. Um, and there's really not much to say other than that. I gotta give it a 2 out of 5, guys. I'm sorry for those of you who really like this card. Uh, if you really, I know it has its purposes for some ninja effects that say like if this ninja is removed from play, or like say Naruto Gaara, Mangekyo Sharingan would work for that one. You know, when you get their effect text and they go away for sure. Uh, but removed from the game is pretty much relative. I mean, there's no reason to run this one over 8 trigrams. So, quite frankly, I got to give it a 2 out of 5 for that reason. Unless you want more than 3/8 trigrams, uh, I don't see Mangekyo Sharingan seeing that much play. Um, unless it's a Kakashi Itachi deck, then I can kind of sort of understand. But that's just for kicks, for fanboy terms. I In fact, I did that out of whack. Mangekyo's M and then the ends. Oh well. Now we're just gonna, nah, you know what, screw it. I'll try and just go with the rest of them. I'm gonna go with the next one, Rasengan. At first, I thought it was a meh jutsu, but when it comes right down to it, uh, 3 lightning, give 1 damage to every ninja battling against the user. That in itself is pretty good. Um, and the battle reward really didn't feel necessary to me, but it's a nice perk, I guess. Um, you want to, if you really think that the Shuriken Rasengan combo was not your cup of tea, then this is the Rasengan for you. So it really does give you more room to put in a different kind of jutsu or mission that you want. But that's a pretty good Rasengan. I'm going to there's really there's really not much you could say about jutsus or missions when they're supers. Um, is it the best Rasengan out there? With just the name Rasengan, yeah, it is, I think. Um, but then again, it depends on what you got. It depends if you really want to get that ninja on the side, that your opponent is, if you really want to get that standby ninja or that other battling ninja with Rasengan. But, again, it really does come down to what you want. I really like this Rasengan. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Um, no reason Lightning decks couldn't, there's no reason, it really just comes down to preference. You either want to run this one or the structure deck one from the previous set. Uh, Next card, Sasuke Orochimaru Squad. First off, there's no reason you don't need to play this. Just having in your reinforcement deck. Squads in general are just that niche, okay? And there will come points in times where you say like, wow, Sasuke and Orochimaru are freaking useless. I could use a stronger ninja right about now. Then, well, guess what? There's a Sasuke Orochimaru squad that's on turn 7, no hand cost, and is an 8-5. It's really kind of hard to go wrong with stats like that, really. And I mean, you really can't tell me that I'm not going to put Sasuke Orochimaru squad in my deck. Well, that's really kind of dumb if you ask me, because there's no reason not to put him in, other than your own stubborn reasons, maybe. Because there's nothing wrong with putting him in your reinforcement deck. It takes away nothing if it's in your reinforcement deck. When you put him in play, I can understand why you feel that it requires you to get rid of, like, a really good Sasuke, like, and stuff. But here's the thing. If you have cold-headed Sasuke in play, or an Orochimaru that is actually winning you the game, like, say, Presence, why would you get rid of them? This is the Sasuke Orochimaru squad. Squads are not meant to take away your best ninjas. They're meant to, in a sense, take away your weaker ninjas and become even stronger. Okay? Say cold-headed Sasuke is in ninja status, and you don't have any healing out at the time, and you've got Orochimaru out as well, and he's not going to be enough to help you. I'd gladly remove them from play to get an 8-5 out there. If anything, to get your opponent down to 0. That will ruin their late game deployments. It'll take them another 6 turns before they can get another late game ninja out there. It's really tough to argue with bringing your opponent's turn marker down to 0, because that can also bring down their chump ninja potentials. So, Sasuke Orochimaru squad, it is a great squad. There's no reason not to put him in your water fire decks or your mono water decks if you run the turn 3 water Sasuke's. Still playable, by the way. It's because it's a squad, and squads can really not take away anything. And when you put them in play, ooh, crash outside the dorm, sweet. Ah, screek, yes. That goes well with a Dane Cook joke, doesn't it? Wow. Well, there's your bonus for the day. Car crash on videotape. But, anyway, back to the topic at hand. What was I talking about? Yes, Sasuke Orochimaru. That is a solid 4 out of 5 for me. And I'm probably saying that because I got 2 of him, so I already am going to be running a deck that revolves around that squad. Well, maybe not so much revolve around the squad. I can just do simple water fire and have it in there for kicks and giggles. So, Sasuke Orochimaru, no reason to not put him in.